Maybe you have changed. Maybe this was the epiphany for you. I don't know. But at this court, this is the end of the road.
Judge,
So-
if I may, Judge.
Yes.
Christopher would like to address the court and
Beltran, Daniel Beltran. All right, if you'll come down, court is calling 2019 CR 9959 State versus Daniel Beltran. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garahan, Your Honor.
Defense?
Tony Hernandez, Your Honor, and I believe it's Christopher Daniel Beltran.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
And are you Christopher Daniel Beltran?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Beltran, did you review the documents entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision? And also First Amendment Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision and State's pending motion to supplement motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And counsel, you'll need to do a trial court certification.
We did it.
No, this is the old one.
Oh,
This is the
that's-
one I have.
They printed one out, Judge, and I gave you, that's the only one they. there's
Oh, no, we
forms.
have some now.
Oh, they gave me one from the back earlier today.
Okay,
That's the one we signed.
I do not have it. All right. Are you the same Christopher Daniel Beltran who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2019 CR 9959 for the offense of burglary of a habitation on January 21st, 2020 for a period of 10 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. State?
Yes, Your Honor, violated condition number 41 on or about the 18th day of March 2023, Lake County, Texas. The defendant, Christopher Daniel Beltran, living there, failed to comply with.
Just like that. Oh, thank you.
My rock and roll, Your Honor, not a problem.
All right. Thank you.
Then and there failed to comply with the rules and regulations of the county drug court by failing to call the urinalysis line in violation of.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True. We'll waive the remaining violated condition.
Any objections?
No, we don't.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition 41, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you entered a plea to counts 1 and count 2. So that will be true, and that will relates to counts 1 and counts 2. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. All right, the court will find violation of condition number 41 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
No, there's not.
All right, in defense, what are you requesting?
Your Honor, we're requesting the court continue him on his deferred adjudication.
Why should I do that?
Your Honor, it's in summary, and we have his father here today to testify for him. Christopher has been on deferred adjudication since 2020. During that 5-year period, he has spent most of that 5-year period either incarcerated or in a safety program. He's been to safety twice, Judge. He has over 311 or about 311 days in jail. During that the interim, Judge, he's also so we're clear with the court, Judge. He's in April of 2023. He was arrested in Del Rio and charged with a federal case of transporting aliens with he'd gotten involved in something with his uncle. He has sat out 21 months on that particular case, and he's been incarcerated that entire time. He's 27 years old now, Judge. He's had significant opportunity to assess his life, and he has told me, and his father has confirmed, that he is much different now than he was 21 months ago. What has happened is that he's realized the importance of his children in his life, the importance of being a role model for his children. He has done something that he hadn't done before, which is while he was incarcerated, has availed himself to parenting classes, to anger management classes, to a GED program, to a substance abuse program. He hasn't just been sitting around. In addition to that, Judge, while he was in federal custody, he was a trustee. While he's been in county, he's been a trustee. He appears from all conversations I've had with him and his father to have finally realized at 27 that this isn't the life that he wants for the rest of his life. He is subject to supervision under the federal case for another 3 years. He's on supervised release for another 3 years. And if the court continues him on his community supervision here, he's got another 5 years on his probation. And then, of course, if he screws up at any time, the court can hit him with the maximum. He understands that. He's asking the court to take one final chance on him. His father here is here, and his father believes that yes, in fact, he has changed the conversations according to his father. The conversations between the two of them have switched from, poor me, when he got picked up in the federal system, shortly after that to, well, what am I doing to my family? What is this impact having on my son? He's got a 14-year-old son, I believe. Yes, a 10 and 14-year-old children, and then 10 and 8.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, 10 and 8. And they're asking for him. He has regular contact with them, but they're asking, when's he going to come home? When can I see my dad? And that has had a profound impact on him. He also has I think a 14-month-old daughter that he's never seen in person.
Right, so this is what I don't understand. People always, when the rubber meets the road, then all of a sudden they have this epiphany. So whenever people are placed on probation in this court, I don't do cookie cutter conditions. So I gave you all the help. I sent you to SafeP, and that was, you're going to SafeP. I know it was in custody, but that was to help you with your drug issues. Then I ended up sending you to felony drug court. So, and this is not your first motion to revoke. So you would have thought I would have got your attention on August 2022 on that motion to revoke. And that motion to revoke, what I did was I alternate amended your conditions to ISF and also felony drug court, so they could get your life in together. And you know what you did when you came here on that date? You're like, I've changed. I realized, I had this epiphany. I realized that, I can't keep living my life like this. I'm going to get it together because I have children. I mean, the question for the court, I don't know who the mother of your children is or why she keeps saying, you know what, I'm going to give him another shot. Because you can't keep giving people different shots when children are involved, because children who are underage, they don't get to choose who their parents are. They don't get to choose, and say, you know what, dad keeps doing crazy stuff, going to jail, won't get his life in order. I'm not waiting around for him. And the mom just keeps hanging on as though the person is going to change. Maybe you have changed. Maybe this was the epiphany for you. I don't know. But at this court, this is the end of the road.
Judge,
So-
if I may, Judge,
Yes.
Christopher would like to address the court, and he's talked to me about the previous chances he's had, and he wants the court to understand what the difference is and how he came to that.
All right, you can
position
raise your
in life.
right hand. Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Christopher Beltran.
All right, do you have questions?
Yes, John. Chris, you had indicated earlier to me that you wanted to address the court. You understand today that she's going to make a decision on your on the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke the probation. Is that correct?
Yes.
What is it that you wanted the judge to know before making that decision?
I want to let you know that, like, my first few times messing up, I was mentally weak. But this time around, I spent a lot of time getting myself together, like just doing things to better myself, because I'm doing it for my kids, but I'm doing it for me too. I understand I messed up plenty of times, but I'm ready to be like productive in my life. This ain't my life I want to live. This ain't me.
Chris, tell her the things that you did while you were in federal custody.
I was going to reentry. I did AA. I did anger management. I did parenting. I also was holding a job. Just trying to stay positive, trying to stay out the way, and just get ready for when I come home.
Now, the previous times that you were either in jail waiting for a hearing or in jail waiting for the case, were you doing any of that kind of stuff?
No.
So what changed, or what made you want to do it this time?
We're just tired of this. It's time to grow up. I'm getting older, and I spend a lot of time incarcerated. So this ain't the life I want to live.
In fact, of the 5 years that you've been on deferred adjudication, about how many of those have you actually been on the street?
Like 8 months, 9 months.
The rest were spent either in jail or in some type of residential treatment facility, is that correct?
Yes.
Or in federal custody, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, I had indicated earlier to the judge what the conversations I had with your father were. Is that about right? I mean, is your family supportive of you?
Yeah, my family is real supportive, and it's.
But your father straight up told you that he's not gonna tolerate any type of
No, yeah.
misbehavior, is that right?
Yes, my father's straightforward to me. He ain't, you know, he'll let me know, like he lets me know right from wrong. You know, he ain't gonna, how can I say this? He ain't gonna let me do wrong and not let me know that you know, like, you know, he's gonna be up forward to me, and you know, my parents are, my family's very supportive of me. It's just I made mistakes, you know, and
But let's be straight with the court. Your father has straight out told you that he will have no problem reporting to your federal supervision officer or to a probation officer.
oh yeah,
If he sees that you're doing the kind of things that you've done in the past. Isn't that correct?
yes,
And you were incarcerated in the federal system for 21 months, is that right?
yes,
Had you ever been locked up for that kind of time before?
you know,
Is that the longest time you've ever had to sit out and for anything?
yes,
And then where you were locked up, the programs that you participated in, they weren't required by the federal system, were they?
no,
You did that on your own.
yes,
We passed the witness.
All right, state.
Yes, how many children do you have?
3,
What are the ages?
10, 8, and 14 months.
And 14 months, so the 14-month-old, I guess the 8 months that you were out, you had a child.
Yes.
And what were you doing during those 8 months?
No, I wasn't out for 8 months. I was only out for like 2 months.
2 months, so within that 2 months, you
I was
had a child.
yes.
What were you doing during those 2 months? Were you
I was
working?
I was reporting to drug court, but I was like reporting like 3-4 times a week, and drug court wasn't allowing me to have a job, but I was working side jobs as much as I can. Like
Okay, so for 2 months, you managed to get somebody pregnant and did not have a job. Is that correct?
yeah,
And I know that you state that your father is supportive of you. Your father's been around you your whole life, and you've managed to pick up new cases, federal cases during that time. Is that correct?
yes, it was a mistake.
I understand it's a mistake. It's more like a choice, correct? And you chose to pick up another case and get caught. And your father was supportive still during that time because he's your father. Is that right?
And supportive in what way?
And being here for you. He came here today for you, didn't he?
Yes,
And this is your third NPR, is that correct?
yes,
And so you're asking the court to actually give you another chance, or really a third or fourth chance.
yes,
And you still owe restitution of over $2,000 to the victim of your burglary of habitation, is that correct?
yes,
Okay, no further questions, John.
Now, are you wanting to pay back that restitution?
yes,
You had said that the drug court program made it difficult for you to find employment, is that right?
yes.
How were you surviving when you were not incarcerated?
Really just to support my family, you know, feeding my kids, little things like that, you know.
You said you were doing side jobs, what
And
kind of side jobs were you
and
doing?
I was doing painting, helping the subcontractors paint.
And that's the kind of skill that you typically, kind of job you typically have?
Yes, I worked in a refinery doing that.
Now, when you say that your father's supportive, your father's always gonna be there for you, is that fair to say?
Yes,
But there are degrees of support. I mean, he's not, I've spoken to your father, he's not the kind of person that's going to say, you know, fine, go out and do whatever criminal activity you want to do,
No.
is he? Like, he's not that kind of person at all, is he?
no,
And in fact, he's straight up told me anyway, and I think he's told you too, hasn't he, that anything that, while you're on supervised release, if any kind of violations, he doesn't have any problem advising the federal system within that case.
yes,
You think he'd do the same thing for this board?
yes,
Pass the witness, sir.
Any further questions?
No question.
I have a few questions.
yes, ma'am.
So you had all of this going on in your life, these criminal cases. Why would you go out and decide to have a child with somebody when your life is not even together?
It wasn't just happening, you know,
I mean, things don't just happen. I mean, you
I
weren't
understand.
active participant, I'm assuming. Nobody was drugged. So when you didn't have employment, how were you feeding yourself?
I would work little side jobs here and there with the subcontractor I used to work with.
Right, and where were you staying? Who were you staying with?
I was staying at my father's house.
All right, so you had, even though drug court was putting number one on their list for you to maintain your sobriety, you did have a place to stay.
Yes,
All right. And then this is the third motion to revoke for you.
yes,
All right, I'm not going to continue down this path of giving you more and more chances. The court is finding violation of condition number 41 true. The court is going to grant the motion, find you guilty, revoke. and the court is finding you guilty of counts 1 and counts 2. Probation, what is the restitution amount?
Judge, the remaining balance for the restitution is $2,734.
And who is that to?
There are two victims, Anna Martinez and Stephanie Carrazzo.
Mhm.
I can check to see if we have separated.
All right, while she's checking on that, state, what are you requesting with regards to punishment?
The state's requesting no less than 10 years. Texas Department of Corrections.
Defense?
Your Honor, he spent 2 years incarcerated already on the federal system, and I understand that's not the same case, but it did give him a timeout, Judge, and it did, I think, affect his thinking and his thinking going forward. Judge, we would ask the court to consider something at the very minimum, 2 or 3 years.
All right, I'm not going to give you 2 or 3 years. I'm going to follow the state's recommendation of sentencing you to 10 years in the prison. Give you credit for any time served. Probation, do you have restitution amount?
Anna Martinez.
Oh, just 1 second. The printer is going. All right, what amount?
$700 to Anna Martinez and $2,034 to Stephanie Carrizal, Carrizal.
All right. So the court is going to sentence you to 10 years in the prison in counts 1 and counts 2. Counts 1 and count 2 are to run concurrently. There's to be restitution and no contact with Anna Martinez. The restitution amount is $700. There's to be restitution and no contact with Stephanie Carrillis. The restitution amount is $2,034. And as previously stated, the cases are running concurrently, and the court is going to sentence you to a $10,000 fine. Time and money will run concurrently. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? You have a limited right to appeal, and that right is as it relates to the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you were on preferred adjudication. I also asked for the therapeutic community. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, still on the record. Will the court
Yes.
be giving him credit for the time that he's been in safety? He spent two trips over there, 181 days on one and 161 days.
Only if he successfully completed that and successfully completed the outpatient portion of that as well.
I know, Judge, he successfully completed the program itself. I don't know. I don't believe he.
All right, once you
Sure,
give me
on the
that
outpatient.
information, if he successfully completed it, then the court will give him credit.
Thank you. Judge, would the court consider giving him credit for the time that he spent in the federal system?
It depends on whether or not this motion to revoke was still pending at that time.
We can check on that real fast.
All right, thank you.
Ayala.
Who is here on Alfredo Rabago? Who's the attorney for Alfredo Rabago?
Coleman.
Did Robert go, Judge?
Hmm?
Did Robert go? Probably right there.
It's Rabago.
I pronounce it Robert, Judge.
Okay,
Morning, Judge.
good morning. All right, so where are we on discovery?
Judge, he has 2 cases. One had been indicted. I learned this morning that the other case had been indicted. I have not had a chance to review that indictment, Judge.
All right, all right, Ms. Ferguson, if I can have a 30-day reset for discovery. All right, your discovery date will be April 3rd.
Very good, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Maybe excuse.
Yes.
Thank you, Judge.
What about my bond fixing?
Not here, it's not here.
Gerardo Morales. Hello.
Hi, Judge. How are you today?
All right, how are you doing?
Nice to see you. So I have to, I had a little giggle. I'm gonna sound a little crazy, but I have a witch. And he sent me a video of you yesterday.
Okay.
He's like, do you know her? I
Oh.
was like, yes, I'll see her tomorrow.
Okay. Tell him I said hello.
I will. I'll be very excited.
All right, so where are we on discovery on this case?
So I worked with Mr. Edelman on this. There's a little more discovery or investigation I'd like to do on my own. So we are asking for a reset of about 30 days so I can contact some potential witnesses and provide
All right,
some new
Ms.
information.
Ferguson, recall this in 30 days and state, have you tendered an offer?
Yes, sir.
All All right, April 3rd is going to be your plea deadline date, and that date, sir, you'll need to let the court know whether you've reached agreement. If you have not reached an agreement, your next setting will be a jury trial date.
Sounds perfect.
All
We
right,
should have
thank
it
you.
resolved by then.
Okay, thank you.
Just have
May I
a
be
seat, sir.
excused?
Yes, yes. Amber Salazar.
Ready, Your Honor.
Court is calling 2024 CR 009461, State versus Amber Salazar. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state
Ashley Jones.
defense?
I'm El Dapa on behalf of Amber Nicole Salazar.
And are you Ms. Salazar?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Salazar, did you review the application for deferred adjudication or community supervision with your attorney, and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented? And probation, this is an application.
We
Ms.
filled out the
Salazar,
personal data sheet, so they have it already.
Thank you. Ms. Salazar, did you review the court admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're charged with injury to the child, elderly, or disabled with bodily injury as a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? You have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent. Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Please do not talk behind us when we're on the record. Just ask the deputy to move you down to that end. Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Salazar, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, there's a $1,500 fine. The state recommends deferred adjudication. This will run concurrent with 2025 CC 002683. The state will take into consideration 2024 CC 742687, and there is an affirmative finding of family violence. Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that to be the entirety of your plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 2 years. There be no contact with Dominic, Dominic Orozco, Diego Orozco, Johanna Rodriguez, anger management, parenting classes, and TAP evaluation, and follow all recommendations. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence?
Yes, Your Honor. State will offer State's Exhibit 1 and all attachments.
No objection.
And state, have you spoken with the complainants? All right, did you review the waivers with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there'll be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence States Exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. Right, after reviewing States Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding you guilty as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, is there a Child Protective Services case open?
Your Honor.
Is there a CPS case open on you?
I'm on TPS, that's right.
All right, and what is your status in CPS court? Are you following their
Yes,
recommendations?
I'm following our recommendations. I'm abiding by every rule that they have, and when I get out, I have to call my caseworker.
All right. Have you ever had any mental health issues?
No, Your Honor.
Do you live by yourself?
No, Your Honor.
Who do you live with?
My grandpa and my uncle.
All right, are there any underage children?
No, Your Honor.
And is this the only child you have?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, there's a $1,500 fine that will be probated. There's to be 5 years deferred adjudication. This runs in current with 2025 CC 002683. Taking consideration 2024 CC 742687. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. When's the last time you had employment?
Before I got in,
She has two jobs,
I
actually.
have to.
Doing what?
I'm a manager at China Rose, and I help take care of my mother.
All right, so that job where you take care of your mother, that's off the table. I don't allow people to be home healthcare providers or work with the elderly. Do you
She's-
understand?
Yes, ma'am.
She's a manager at a Chinese restaurant.
I mean, well, she can do that, but I'm not allowing her to get paid for taking care of her relative because that's a home health care provider in the court's eyes. And I don't allow that. There's to be proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. Field visits 1 time per month until further notice. And probation, if you can make sure that she is not the person who's taking care of her relative. There is to be no contact with Dominique Orozco, Diego Orozco, and I know I'm mispronouncing that. It's Orozco, Johanna Rodriguez. There's to be 200 hours of community service restitution. I'll deduct 100 hours for parenting classes, which I'm requiring. Have you ever had any drug issues?
No, Your Honor.
Have you ever been prescribed any type of mental health issue, any type of mental health medication in the past?
In the past, yes, Your Honor.
For what?
Just anxiety and depression.
All right, so there's the TAP evaluation and MIC evaluation out of custody. And if needed, a referral to Center for Healthcare Services. And I'll deduct another 100 hours for anger management. Probation, is there anything else? Wait, just one second. Yes, regular random UAs and regular reporting by Zoom or in person. All right, is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, Your Honor.
Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing, when you have children, children may upset you, but you're not supposed to be hitting children in anger.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I asked
And I
her
know
what happened,
people-
Judge,
Yes.
and because she seems pretty meek. And I said, the police report doesn't reflect that. And I said, are you an alcoholic? So she was very upfront. I'm an alcoholic. I should not have been drinking. I shouldn't have been.
Well, she shouldn't have been drinking and driving. And I will tell you, alcohol, this is what I've discovered about alcohol. When people drink a lot of alcohol and they do things, they say, well, you know, the alcohol made me do it. Alcohol didn't make you do it. That's what you wanted to do. Maybe alcohol gave you courage to do it. But what I'm telling you is you should not be putting your hands on children in anger or anybody in anger. And, you know, people want to discipline their children by spanking them. You know, that's not against the law, But guess what? If somebody were to just spank at an adult or hit at an adult because you won't listen, like why is this food don't taste good? Why doesn't the food taste good? You know, why isn't the trash taken out at this time? If somebody in a relationship were an adult were to hit somebody because they didn't do the dishes, you know how sometimes you have children and they're supposed to do chores, and sometimes parents will hit them because they didn't do the chores. By that same token, if an adult were to get hit for not doing their chores, you know what they call that? Assault, family violence. If an adult, you know, doesn't have the table made up the way somebody wants it made up and somebody hits them, or if they didn't make the bed in the morning and somebody hits them, guess what that is? That's an assault. But with the child, people say, that's okay. So what I can tell you, your son, Dominique, is going to always remember what you did. And you're going to have to start doing better to make that up for him and to let him know that he can trust you and that you're not going to hit him out of anger. You understand?
And Your Honor, just for the record, we didn't bring that up to negate responsibility. It was just for her to recognize the problem that she has.
Okay. All right, you're going to have to do better.
Thank you, Judge.
Good luck.
Excuse?
Yes. Joseph Kruger.
Your Honor, we're here on that one. Kruger's in custody out of county and will not be here.
All right, who's here on Moses Wamu?
Your Honor. One move, I believe.
All right, so yes,
Yeah.
where?
Judge, on this case, although I had reached out to the MAC, this court had appointed Teresa Coles Davila,
Mhm.
and I provided her with copies of the indictments. And she's, on Monday, communicates to me that she won't finish it by this week.
Okay.
Just, I don't think we need much more time.
You want it the week of March 24th, and if you all have it done
Yes.
before then, you can come in sooner.
Correct. And there's just one thing I can bring to your attention.
Mhm.
You had signed an order for his release for GPS work release January 31st.
Mhm.
And on February 24th, it was resent a directive to the jail, and he's still in custody.
All right, if you'll check with Ms. Ferguson
Okay.
on that. And Norma, what date, the week of March 24th? And it's on Wamuyu?
Yes.
Right. Yes, the week of March 24th.
Oh, okay, I can do the 27th.
27th.
All right, so we'll do March 27th, and that's for the immigration report.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. And then if you'll check with Ms.
I
Ferguson. on
will,
that.
I will about, thank you, Judge. And Your Honor, on the different person state starting paperwork for a plea, am I able to do this? If not now, but like this afternoon?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
All right. Alexander Rangel, Mr. Rangel, come down. And after this one, we're taking our lunch. Thank you. All right, so on Rangel, you're requesting a bond.
Yes, Your Honor, he's remanded without bond.
Why is he remanded without bond?
Well, apparently he's got a MTR. And we're just asking the court, well, I've already discussed it with the prosecution. They've recommended a $20,000 bond, so we're asking if you would.
Well, what
grant
is
that.
it? Does anybody have the motion to revoke on Rangel? What's the allegations in the motion to
I do,
revoke?
Your Honor. I've got it here.
So you're asking for a bond on this case?
Yes, Your Honor, I am. And also a referral to Veterans Court. Apparently, Mr. Brian Hall's got a pretty impressive binder of
Mhm.
just awards and things that he did while he was in the military. I've already talked to Adina Ruz,
Mhm.
and I've forwarded the paperwork to them. They said it does look favorable, but apparently they're accepting referrals, but they're not going to be able to evaluate until March 27th.
Mhm.
So if you would just allow him to apply for the Veterans Court, see if they can help him. He does have PTSD and he's got some issues and he needs assistance.
All right. We can go on the record, but I will tell you, it is 12:10.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll hear the evidence that you're going to present for a request for bond amount, and then I'm going to think about it over the break, and I'll set it. Okay. All right. Court is calling 2021 CR 1312W State versus Alexander Rangel. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garrett, no.
Defense.
Jesse Sepulveda.
And are you Mr. Rangel?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so you have a motion to revoke, and on that motion to revoke, you do not have bond and defense. You're asking for a bond to be set.
I am, Your Honor.
And it's my understanding that the defense and state have reached an agreement on a bond amount.
That is correct, John.
And what will be that bond amount?
That would be $20,000 to,
That is correct, Judge. And I would be making the bond from what my client tells me and what his mother, who is here, stand up, miss.
He will be residing with her.
All right, does he have a vehicle? Does he have access to a vehicle?
No, ma'am.
You want to raise your right hand? You want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, the nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Alexander Randall, ma'am.
All right, do you have access to a vehicle?
No, ma'am.
Does your mom have a vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Then you have access to a vehicle.
Oh, no, but no, she don't let me use it, ma'am.
I don't know if that's something you all want to consider with regards to asking for scram.
Judge, one of the state uses position or is the position, they ask for anything that they have vehicle access to have ignition or lock installed on that vehicle. If you list within that time.
I believe the mother would be receptive to that, Your Honor, if you would allow him to do that.
All right, how many vehicles are at the household?
What's that, ma'am?
How many vehicles are at that household?
Just hers, ma'am.
Okay. All right, is there anything else from either side?
No, Your Honor.
State law.
All right, let's recall this. Vashawn, how long do you think Veterans Treatment Court needs to review Mr. Alexander Rangel for Veterans Treatment Court? Defense said he's already reached out to them.
Yes, Judge, on the end of March, Judge.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this for a hearing, and this hearing is going at the end of the March on this motion to revoke. What date?
Judge, can I have the first of April?
Yes. So this is gonna be recalled for April 1st.
Yes, ma'am.
And actually, I have thought about your bond while we've been talking. So what the court is going to do, the court is going to grant the agreed bond amount. The bond is going to be set at $20,000. And there is going to be ignition interlock on all vehicles at residence. And there's going to be referral to the VA. You either need to go to the VA or either the Center for Healthcare Services for any mental health issues. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And that needs to be done time when you're released. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And if possible, if you choose the VA, then they can give you sober support meetings as well.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I'm going to order 30 sober meetings in 30 days. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a couple questions, Judge.
Yes.
Is the ignition lock being installed in lieu of the scram or in addition to the scram?
State.
The state was requesting both the honor.
All right. Ignition interlock and scram.
And how long will she have to have the ignition lock installed on?
your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent. Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? When are you asking for this to be recalled?
30 days, Your Honor.
Is what's happening with him going to take 30 days?
Possibly, unclear.